Shana Tova. Today I feel like we've all come home again to this sacred time. It might be your first year at Congregation Beth Israel, or the first year that you're live streaming. Perhaps it's your 10th year or even your 50th year or more with us. The years go by quickly, but we're all home now, where we belong. To me, this day is like sitting down every year with family at the dining room table for the holidays. It's where we recall stories from family history, where we share food from favorite recipes, and talk about work and school, the country and Israel, and consider what will be in the new year. When I was a child, the holidays usually meant that our family would drive from the Chicago suburbs where we lived to be with relatives who lived closer into the city. It was meaningful, but it was also a little awkward. Compared to the suburban lifestyle we knew, theirs felt old-fashioned to me. There was plastic on the furniture that stuck to you if you sat on it for too long. There were traditional foods that tasted as old as they looked, strange stews and cooked fruit from a can. But when the meal was served, the conversation began in earnest. I could hear the adults talking from any room in the house. Probably like yours, my relatives spoke up and gestured. They lectured and interrupted. They argued and summarized. It usually began with local politics, but quickly spread to national issues, the role of the president, what he was doing wrong, and a little about what he was doing right. And finally, they came to Israel because they saved the easiest topic for last, right? The temperature in the room rose when Israel was mentioned. I remember one of my uncles. He was small in stature, but he made some of the strongest arguments. He was an ardent Zionist whose family perished in the Holocaust. Everyone listened to him. And when the conversation ended at the table, it continued into the living room and later outside to the driveway, where someone finally agreed that it was time to say good night. Those holiday dinners and that dining room scene began generations ago. Those conversations enabled relatives to parse the news of the day while they celebrated their faith and their heritage. They emerged from it with greater clarity and purpose. They returned to their own homes, even in the suburbs, feeling more connected to their identity as Jews and Americans. And more than that, and perhaps unknowingly, they also set the table for the next generations to do the same. They gave us a playbook to reenact those dining room scenes. Of course, the playbook isn't real except for the Passover Haggadah. It's still stained in places where we juggle the wine and matzah. But the narrative is just about the same. We still organize our conversations around local politics, the nation and the president, and eventually about Israel. The list remains full, and so does our obligation to fulfill it. We need this setting where we wrestle with ideas with people who are family and those who are as close as family. Likewise, we need our children and grandchildren to hear us so they can lead one day too. So Rosh Hashanah is more than the birthday of the world. It is more than a new year of years. Rosh Hashanah marks a new cycle of family gatherings around dining room tables. Some of the people around the table have changed places. Some have come. Some have gone. But the purpose of gathering remains the same. When we listen to each other around the table, young and old, wise and simple, learned and still learning, it becomes a model for generational development and inheritance. An English professor, a scholar, wrote that at their best, families are preserves of intimacy, disclosure, forgiveness, self-discovery, and renewal. When families gather, we drink from all these vast and nourishing resources. Judaism thrives on intimacy. At best, intimacy is about deepest love that cannot be freely found anywhere else. Our homes and our relatives' homes warmly welcome us. Their embraces meet us at the door and draw us in to gather around the table. And over vast amounts of food made with generations of love, we share joys and sorrows and words of hope. Intimacy also opens our doors to welcome Jewish allies and Jews by choice. Together we find our way with unconditional love. Disclosure reveals memories. More than family secrets, memories make us witnesses to the past who are responsible for the future. Judaism's strength is revealed in its memories. Unlike Jewish history, which is about dates and events, Jewish memories tell us about our people's passion, how they experienced life's struggles, how they overcame them, and how they experienced freedom and welcomed the stranger among them. We remember Jewish heroes the best. They faced defeat and knew victory. They endured persecution and celebrated redemption. Their memories endure in our people's strength and amazing resilience today. At best, forgiveness also awaits us. At the table, families forgive long enough to listen and learn about each other's journeys. We hear about each other's successes. We empathize with each other's pain. And we forgive each other's failures. Maybe our worst failures aren't easily forgotten. But if we exile family from the table, then forgiveness will remain out of reach. But forgiveness is at the heart of Jewish life. So we make room for it where we find family gathered together. We are all prone to stumbling, and so we are all in need of forgiveness. Self-discovery happens because family is our launching pad. Jewish family life and memories are all the roots any of us need to launch into a world of possibilities. It's been said, give your children roots and wings. And so a Jewish writer of the 20th century taught, protect me from my secret wish to make my children over in my own image. Let them dance to their music, dissonant perhaps to me. Renewal happens at home. There's no greater place to find renewal in the form of rest and refreshment. Judaism values renewal because it values persons who are on their way to becoming more. It's not about being the best version of ourselves. That would require us to remain the same and then get better. Judaism says it will only get better when we continue to change and grow and renew. All that we are meant to be is created in us. By going personally deeper in each stage of our life, we find it is already there waiting for us to take hold of and use. It's courage in time of weakness, hope in times of despair, kindness instead of callousness, and love instead of hate. The goal is not perfection. The goal is to find in family, at home among friends, and in the congregation all the ingredients we need to thrive as human beings bound to Torah. And so in Judaism, we don't ask, are you a good Jew or a bad Jew? Because there's no heaven that we seek or hell that we fear. We live in the here and now. The better question to ask is, are you a Jew who remembers or a Jew who forgets? I prefer to be a Jew who remembers his Judaism, and I would urge you to be the same. Jews who remember their Judaism have what they need to address the world with reasons for being, a duty to thrive, and a vision for a better world. Jews who forget are not lost or condemned, but they're more likely to break the chain of tradition. But it's never too late to remember. Jewish education, participation, and conversation, especially those around the table, awaken a dormant Jewish personality. Choose life, says Torah, because we overcome with tenacity. We aim to enjoy a life well lived, and we prepare the next generation to do the same. Last year, a mother and her son approached me after Shabbat services. He was already a tall teenager who didn't need his mother's advice, but she was urgent about it. Standing with her son, she told me that he was returning soon to college. She was concerned about his commitment to the family's future, code words for tell him to find a Jewish partner. She put him on the spot, and she put me on the spot too. Rather than put him as his mother wanted me to do in a particular space, I offered this advice. I said to him, "You'll meet many people in college. They'll make an impression on you. You'll enjoy the privilege to make your own decisions about many things, except one." He looked curious at me. I said, "You don't have the privilege to break the chain of Jewish tradition. You can add to it, you can make it stronger, you can welcome newcomers to it. I officiated interfaith weddings. But you don't have the privilege to break the chain of tradition." His mother nodded her head. He heard me, but I'm not sure that he really heard me. Not yet. So can young adults break the chain of tradition that easily? Yes, they can, and they do. But should they break the chain of tradition? Absolutely not. Young adults belong to each of us. They're the young generation that encountered a world where their expectations aren't being met, but neither are ours. The world we built and they were promised doesn't exist anymore. Their Jewish tradition is flavored by the past, but it will be sweetened by their contributions to Jewish life. To urge them in our shared direction, their seats, like all our young people's seats in the dining room, need to move to the adult table. Their opinions need to be added to the conversation that has been going on for generations. Together, we're in search of our Western values and our people's outlook for the world we share with others. It's not too late to exchange generational wisdom and answers for our times. On this critical new year, our Jewish inheritance is less at risk if we talk about our memories, our dreams, and our needs in a setting of Jewish intimacy, disclosure, forgiveness, self-discovery, and renewal. As Jews, our obligation is to more than faith. It's to a covenant of heritage and culture, language, ritual and ethics, and yes, to food. It binds us to God, expressed in Torah teachings that also bind us as a people. The power of this binding covenant is more than a ritual or an ethical deed. Participating in any part of it binds us to all that has gone before us. It creates meaning for us in our time and in our place. It's been said that when we perform one of the many life acts known as a mitzvah, a commandment, we remind ourselves of moments of sacred encounter. And what was only one moment a long time ago becomes epical. And what was only a moment in Jewish history becomes eternal in Jewish life because of us. Just the single moment of lighting the Sabbath or holiday candles connects us with Jews everywhere in the world today and with those who came before us in the past, including our mothers and grandmothers, our great-grandmothers, and biblical matriarchs. Holding conversations around the table summons our relatives in ways that call us to model their passion and demonstrate their purpose. We do it not only because it's a mitzvah, but also because of the sheer power and enormity of history. It propels us to press on and to continue to add to our people's place in the world. In an interview once with Elie Wiesel, he was asked how he would like to be remembered. He replied, as a Jew, naturally, as a witness, as a good father. From Wiesel, we learn that the Jew, the witness, and the good father are all the same. They are each a fate that, once accepted, becomes a destiny. Each is an act of faith. We are not Wiesel, but we are his students. We are Jews and we are witnesses too, to the Holocaust and to contemporary Jew hatred. We are also parents or grandparents, and if we aren't parents or grandparents yet, it's still our obligation to prepare the next generation to bear these responsibilities. As acts of faith, we carry them not as options, but as commandments. We are part of something epical. Today, the conversations at our tables about Jewish life here and abroad require our full attention. Tomorrow, I'll speak specifically about Israel, but on this Rosh Hashanah Eve, let's be clear about something. Not for decades has so much been at stake. Let's not misunderstand that this Rosh Hashanah is more than a new year of years. This is the first day of the rest of our lives as Jews. Will we be Jews who remember or Jews who forget? Our Jewish inheritance is at stake. Our holiday tables are sources of sustenance that nourish our bodies and souls. Let us prepare ourselves to be more than we were last year and to do more for our sake and the sake of our people in the new year 5786. Amen.